So before we check out the interview, let's discuss the adaptation of organisms one-on-one. So what is adaptation? It's any variation or characteristic that helps an organism to survive and also the chances of its offspring reproducing successfully. In each generation, organisms that are likely to survive and reproduce, passing the adaptation onto their offspring, are known to be the best adapted individuals. Individuals that are less well adapted are more likely to die before reproducing. Adaptations can be behavioral, anatomical, and physiological. Before going through each type of adaptation, we must disclose that adaptation develops as a result of evolution by natural selection. Now you must be wondering, what is natural selection? It's the selective pressure driving evolution involving the whole environment of the organism. Selective pressure is defined as an environmental factor, for example, availability of food, environmental temperature, predation, disease. All these create a struggle for survival and has a direct effect on the number of individuals in the population. Back to adaptation now. Behavioral adaptation. It's the way an organism acts that helps an organism to survive in the environment it lives in. Behavioral adaptation happens more quickly than physiological or structural adaptation. The more intelligent an animal is, the faster it can learn to make behavioral changes in order to survive. Like some birds, they perform a courtship dance or produce a bird song to attract mates. Some animal species, like monkeys, they move in groups to protect themselves from predators. Scorpions, they perform a mating dance to attract the same species, increasing the chance of mating. Possums, they play dead to escape predator attack. Physiological or biochemical adaptation. It ensures the correct functioning of biochemical and therefore physiological processes in the organism in order for the organism to survive in the environment it lives in. For example, camel. It has a long loop of renal in kidneys to conserve more water. Yeast. It respires aerobically or anaerobically depending on O2 availability. Lastly, anatomical adaptation, which basically is also structural adaptation. The development of body structures that enhances the survival of the organism in the environment it lives in, such as thick white fur of the Arctic fox. It helps to protect it against the cold weather and to camouflage it from predators. Whales, thick blubber fat for insulation and thermal and energy store. Aquatic animals, they have a streamlined shape which allows faster movement to catch prey and escape predators. Flagella, in bacteria, allows movement. Now going back to Gally Schofield, she's a researcher whose research has relevant application to science-based management, contributing to the improvement of protected area zoning and regulation. Information obtained already through her research has led to the adjustment of natural park protective maritime legislation to properly reflect in water use of the largely used turtle breeding area in Mediterranean. Her current research involves investigating the relation to adaptation sea turtles. Now to her written interview. Current research details. Current findings. Significance of research. So what is the significance of the research in relation to adaptation? Why are we even performing all this or learning all this? Well, adaptation in organisms increase the chance of survival and reproduction successfully. Adaptation are passed on to offspring, hence it's crucial so we gain the knowledge or perform essential research so we can increase the chance of survival and reproduction of organisms successfully. So now that we know the importance of adaptation of organisms, what other animals do you think would be a great model for investigation and why?